Hello and welcome to my second video in Geoguessr Let's Do Australia. I'm going to use the official map because even though it's got potato quality, it will give us a more well-rounded understanding of what's where. And when those areas get recovered with a newer generation, you'll have a head start. Australia's a sore point for a lot of players. It can be, the end of a streak if you get it while trying to hedge. I'm sure it has killed a lot of hedges, and probably Russia as well. So let's see what we can figure out. I've lived over most of Australia. I've done a lot of driving. I'm going to do no move just so we can get a better view and understanding of what we're looking at, rather than no move pan zoom. I'm from Melbourne originally, but I now live in Sydney. And I've lived everywhere except Tassie. Alright. But yeah, Australia is generally pretty hard, even for people who live here. It's hard. It's a huge, huge country. Okay. The trees are a decent size. They're quite wide. So, you can get different species as you go up and down the coast, and they'll grow to different heights from the rainfall and the soil. They're quite wide trees. Soil is chalky soil. This looks like a little bit of a floodplain. Generally on floodplains the trees grow medium and splayed, but there are a lot of floodplains. Now let's get a look at the house. Okay, we do have mountains over the back. This looks like it could be New South, but it could be Queensland or Vic. Really, this kind of house actually is more South style. This is a very Victorian style house. Victorians like their houses flat and sometimes quite long, and generally, like out in the bush, even in town, most of the houses are flat. I don't know why. See, these don't grow up north really. Not really. These are they're Australian, but see, the leaves are more, they look more coniferous than anything else. What else have we got? I don't know, tea trees, I think. We've got some, is that water through there? Now, as a general feel, this feels Victorian bush to me, but I am slightly biased, seeing as I grew up there. The fence is well kept. Okay, let's just have a general look. I'm thinking that might be the Grampians. I mean, I could be completely off, but that would put this. I think the Grampians are like here. Now, because of the size of the trees, this could be more up north than where I'm guessing, but I think I'm going on the house, to be honest. Let's kind of put it, see, the Grampians are, where are they? They're south. So, I don't know, up here? That's not too bad. That's not too bad. If that was a world map, that would be a pretty decent guess. Okay, so that was, I think I made my decision on that because of those trees that I saw that looked coniferous-y and the house style. Okay, so remember those two things. Right. We are south because it's green and the clouds are fluffy. Now south can be, New South Wales down. Banyule City. I really don't know where that is, to be absolutely honest. Now, I think that one of the real tricks with Geoguessr is really understanding how to differentiate Western Australia, Perth, from the rest of Australia, because that is what stuffs up your score the most. This looks very south. This looks very Melbourne, I will say. I will say that. That's a tea tree, I think, or is it a scribbly gum? I don't know. It's a short gum. That's a red gum, I think. Red gums have got like a little reddy tinge, and they're quite prevalent in New South Wales. That's a tea tree. Tea trees you find along the side of the roads in Victoria quite a bit, like on the nature strip. Council's planted them a lot. Let's have a look here. And that looks coniferous-y, doesn't it? Now, am I just biased in thinking Victoria or what? It's in the distance here. This could be New South, could be Vic. I'm going to go, there's a palm. That is sometimes a New South Wales indicator, but yeah, number plate, it's white. New South Wales has yellow plates, I think, but that's not always true because I don't think these days that it actually does. Hang on a sec, let's get out and have a look. Because, yeah, I don't think that's true anymore. New South Wales number plates. Let's have a look. Still is, huh? All right, Wiki. There you go. It still is. This looks a lot like where I grew up. These kinds of styles of gardens and the size of that tea tree as well. So it doesn't look, a banyule doesn't sound like anything I know. And this could be New South, but I'm going to try. Banyule doesn't sound familiar to me at all. Let's try somewhere out of the sticks, like out of the city, like maybe here. Could be around here. Up here, not so much. Got clouds in the north, never eat soggy wheatbix in the west. Let me try. Just try Warrnambool. Right in Melbourne. Okay, Banyule, we know where you are now. It is in Bundoora. I grew up around here. So, well, when I was very young. So I should have gone with my it looks like where I grew up feeling. First impression is Queensland. Let's have a look. Okay. These purple trees here, that's a jacaranda. They don't grow in Victoria. They do grow in New South Wales and Queensland. I'm not sure if they appear in Western Australia. There are a lot. Right, so I'm going to guess this is New South. Possibly Queensland. Okay. That size of shape of tree I associate with, I think, Newcastle up. They're quite tall, they're not too splayed, and they've got that shape. That's North New South Queenslandy. That reminded me of Newcastle because they've got a lot of industrial stuff there. I think that's one of the places where they export mined goods, I think. What have we got here? Don't know. Horses and hills. This could be Queensland. Could be New South. I'm getting a feeling of around could be here, but it could be anywhere up to here, really. I'm going to go here, and this is probably going to be too low. Toowoomba. All right, there was a lot of jacarandas. I should have gone further north. Right, oh. Sandy soil, medium height forest. Generally the medium height forests are further north. Excuse me. This is a tree you find a lot in New South, though. I forget what it's called, but it's got blacker kind of bark to it. Now, trees can get smaller as you go up higher altitudes or as you go north. Tricky one. This is a tricky one. This is actually really a tricky one. Is it highlands? Possibly. I don't recognise this forest. It's not familiar to me. It isn't at all. It's a lot of very dark bark. Where do we go with this? Doesn't remind me of anything that I know. Let's have a look at the clouds. Doesn't look Victorian. The clouds are, Victoria, the clouds are fluffy and soft generally. There's a lot of sea breeze in Victoria, so the sky is pretty clear. Or, squishy clouds. This, I'm thinking South Australia. I mean, one of the clues is this chalky soil. You do get chalky soil in South Australia, down the bottom. But this is either high altitude or getting into the tropics. So I'm not so sure about that. I really don't know. If I was going to do a guess, I might go up around here or down here. I really don't know. This is a hard one. Let's just go there. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Would not have picked that at all. I didn't look Victoria at all. Australia, you be hard. You really be hard. All right, remember that forest that looks like that down there, which is really bizarre because down here there is lush temperate rainforest, and that was completely different, right? Okay, the soil is extreme red. Plenty of palms. Houses are flat. Tin roof. Does point towards Queensland. However, you've got to worry about northwestern Australia. Northwestern Australia and Western Australia in general has extremely dark soil because of the prevalence of iron ore. It's very, very dark. And this has that colour, but parts of Queensland also have this colour. If this was WA, it would be in here, in my opinion. If it's Queensland, I don't know, maybe here. Maybe here. What do you reckon, ladies and gents? Where should we go? House style. You know what? That's not Queensland style. It isn't. It's not Queensland style. Let's try WA, shall we? How about we try here? Hey, that's not bad, is it? I was going to go Karratha. Okay, so again, house style. House style got that one. Excuse me, I just got up actually. Queenslanders like houses that are double stories with shaded under house parts that you can sit in and have a barbecue, etc. And also Queensland gets a lot of flooding, so a lot of the houses are built on stilts because of that. How'd I go? Thanks, I don't need that. 12,730. You know what? That's not a bad score for Australia, to be honest. That really isn't a bad score for Australia. I did all right. Shall we do one more? First impression is Vic/New South. Okay. Let's get a look at those gum trees, what they look like, their size, shape. Look at the houses. What kind of houses have we got? Weird. Don't know what that is. This is a small town. Ah, we've got a street sign, and yeah, we can't read it. Good. We can't read it. This does not look Victorian. The trees here are a bit scrabby, you know, like a bit scrawny, not that big. This is more northy north, a little bit northy north. Mountains in the background, electricity station, probably coal, I'm assuming. Kind of insane considering we have got the capacity in the land to make solar powered energy for pretty much the entirety of Asia. But no, we can't do that. Lose our kickbacks. Just looking at the general style. Houses. I'm getting an outback Queensland feel, but down near the bottom. This is actually hard. I can't really figure out where this is. All right, let's get a general idea of this. The forests here are still quite tall. It doesn't really start shrinking until maybe here up. Tricky dicky. Oh, this isn't Queensland, man. Look at the soil. That's not Queensland soil. That's Vic, New South Wales soil. Oh, I'm at a loss. I don't know. I do not know with this one. This is hard. I do not know. Let's put it up. Fuck. Really? Really? Really, Australia? Well, we did see that there was some shorter forests here. To be honest, that does look Victorian. This is the alpine, and this is sloping down here. So this is more flatter in these areas. I mean, there are bits and pieces of hills, but oof. Right. Yeah. It's hard to talk it out. I should have gone with the size of the forest. I didn't. I went with the soil, and I was wrong. Open grasslands. Flat house. What is that? Gum trees are quite tall and healthy. No jacarandas. No conifers. I'm thinking mid-north New South Wales country. This reminds me of this area, just that green bit there, the back hills of Byron, so out here. And this looks like it could be just heading into that, so I'm going to put it there, heading into it from the other direction perhaps, considering that's still not a bad score if you're on a world map. That would be okay for a hedge. So even just a little bit of tweaking can make a hell of a lot of difference on an Australian score. Now this looks more alpine, heading into the alpine Vic. The clouds, overcast. We've got some different varieties of grass going on here. We've got quite a bit of hilliness going on. That is a Southern Australian style house. I mean, you can be mistaken. People can build whatever they like, right? But that is, this looks like Tassie or Vic. And I'm actually feeling more Tassie because this doesn't look familiar to me. And that's a very healthy looking gum tree. All right, what do we got here? We've got an old church. Lots of gently rolling grasslands. A lot of mountains around. What is that? Google. That got mucked up, didn't it? It doesn't look familiar to me, as in I've never been around here. I'm thinking Tassie. We've got coniferous-y type looking plants. Okay, so this is going to be Vic or Tassie. Southern South Australia is a bit, the soil is a bit lighter. This looks rather more nourished. The soil in South Australia, I think, is quite a bit poorer. Yeah, that's a Victoria style house, but it can also be Tassie. I'm going to go Tassie. Let's see. It's probably Vic. Go Vic, what do you think? Vic or Tas? Look at the clouds. Tassie. I'm going to go Tas. I don't know where. Hey, not bad. Right. What do we got? It's a new house. It's got a tin roof. Generally, that's not Victorian type style. New houses are different, of course, than what the other styles were, so this might be a bit harder to tell. Trees are quite tall and healthy. Lots of cloud. Wow. Very nice. I am thinking Tassie again. It's a lot of water in the air. The trees are well nourished. What have we got going on with the native grasses? Because they like Victoria and Tassie, the native grasses. There's not a hell of a lot of variety going on. Nice big tall gums. Where would you go, ladies and gents? And no, I haven't really noticed any pattern with the beans. I'm sure there are patterns with the beans, but I don't know. So far, I've found it a little bit unreliable, so I don't generally go towards it. The landscape, the trees in general, does not feel familiar to me, but it is a cool climate place as far as I can see. A lot of expanse, not many hills. Is that a city over there? I'm leaning towards Tassie again, just because of the way these trees look, the water, the hills, and the general cool green feel of what we've got going on here. I'm not confident. Not confident at all. I'm going to go round about where the last guess was, the last place. Ooh, I was so wrong. Wow. Brisbane. Brisbane trolled. Wow, Brizzy. That must be some kind of like little dip that collects moisture up there, because that was very lush. Very lush. I guess maybe the tell there could have been the tin roofs, because people down south don't really use tin on their roof. So even though the style of the house and the shape is kind of generic, you know, maybe we should watch out for tin on the roof. Okay, that was a shit score. Last one. I don't really work with antennas because that can change. You know, it works for now, but what we really want to understand is the ecosystems, the trees, the soil, where is it, the climate, so that no matter what happens with the car or the aerial, you'll know where you are. It's more reliable, it's harder, but it's more reliable. We've got yellowy red soil. We've got palm trees. That's not a Victorian style house. New South Wales. I mean, you can find them anywhere, but in general, it's not. Wow, what a bad quality picture. Isn't it shit? Got a lot of clouds. This soil colour is quite unfamiliar to me. And very big gum. Look at the size of that one. This one does make me think Queensland, you know, just the combination of that palm and this tree. Also WA. It also reminds me of WA. Soil isn't black enough, isn't red enough for WA in my opinion. All right. I'm going to give this, just because of this and this kind of put together, as well as the really healthy gums. And this is, the last one looked a little bit too light green for me to have picked Queensland. This one is dark enough for me to do so, and I'm going to put it here, although it could be WA, because that feels like WA as well as that, to be honest with you. Not bad. All right. Meh, not a good score, but this is Australia. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Let's get out of here.